Okay, if everybody come to order, please, and come in or out, but shut the door. Either way you're going. After you. Thank you. I'd like to welcome you today. This is, again, the Board of Water and Power Commissioners. It's our regularly scheduled meeting of Tuesday, November the 16th, 2010, and the time is now 10:15. Opening remarks for me. The only comment that I have right now is that you can see us on Channel 35, which is the city channel. If you'd like to review this particular meeting, normally the meeting is reviewed at around 5 or 6 o'clock on the day of the meeting, which is today, and then again on Saturday. And we did not have the exact times on Saturday, so please feel free to call 311 and ask for the city channel, and they should be able to get you that information. I have no further comments today. We have a report by the GM or COO. Will you be giving the report today?
Yes, sir. Mr. Butner should be here shortly, but just a few comments. One is on the IRP. We have the draft IRP that we are working on, and we are hoping to give a full presentation today, but it'll be at the next board meeting that we'll be able to do that. But what I'd like to do is, once I finish the rest of my comments, have staff give you an update on our outreach, what we've done so far on the outreach for the IRP. The second point I want to talk about was our electric vehicle program.
So before you go on,
Yes, sir.
I noted we had about 17 speakers on the IRP. Please feel free to remain and speak if you wish, but there will be no vote. And we will try and recall what you said at the next meeting when
Yeah, at the next
we
board
have
meeting
a
we'll
vote.
have the full presentation. Yes.
Okay, and the full presentation.
Yeah.
And if you choose not to speak
But
today,
what I could do now is I can hold off on the rest of my comments and just walk you through have staff walk you through what we've done so far.
No, go through the rest of your comments.
The other couple of things that I want to talk about was the electric vehicles. So in anticipation of the EVs being introduced into the market starting next month, we have been working very fast and furious on making sure that we are ready as far as the EV program is done, and we have a staff here to answer any questions about that. A great deal of work is already underway, and we have streamlined the permitting, inspection, and meter installation process, developed a discounted EV rate for new EV owners. Customer service is ready to help in any way they can to make sure that the process is very streamlined and very, as far as the customer is concerned, they see only one point, and that is the customer service, and everything else is handled internally. And we are working with our partners in the regions. It's not something that we're doing on our own, so we are working with all the other local utilities. So our customers will see a seamless point of plugging in, regardless of where they are in Southern California. So a lot of these things are happening, and I'm sure you're aware the auto show starts next week, and there'll be a lot of EV manufacturers here. So we are getting ourselves and getting ready for that. So those are the two things I want to talk about, and what I'd like to do now is have Joe Ramallo come up and give an update on our outreach programs, what we've done so far, and what we plan on doing the next couple of weeks.
Joe?
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you very much. So regarding the IRP, we kicked off a public process with a workshop that was open to all of our customers and the public here at DWP headquarters on August 12th. We followed that up with 7 regional workshops held around the city, conducted in August and September. These were held in East and West Valley, East LA, North Los Angeles, West LA, South LA, and the Harbor area. We publicized them through paid and earned media, outreach to neighborhood councils, outreach to business groups, environmental groups, and other stakeholders, and used social media such as Twitter and YouTube to promote them. We also created a dedicated website together with the power system called lapowerplan.org. It was interactive and contained also an online survey. People could watch streaming video of the presentation by visiting the site and then simply click on a button to submit their comments online. Mike Webster did the presentations at these meetings, and we videotaped him at the first one and then posted it online and submitted comment and promoted that video pretty significantly through Twitter, through our 2,000 followers on Twitter. During each workshop, we gave a presentation about the IRP and then engaged in discussion and took comments during the interactive breakout sessions for small groups. We had the services of a professional facilitator. It was very constructive in terms of just an opening presentation and then a very, very involved and engaged process of talking about priorities, asking folks to indicate priorities and discuss trade-offs and options. I think everyone who participated, we got a lot of positive feedback from them through that process, that they felt it was very constructive and very helpful. We also conducted direct briefings for key stakeholder groups, including business customers, environmental groups, and neighborhood councils. We met separately with Winifred Yancey and her group, with City Hall officials and council member staffs, both the power system as well as external relations partnered on this project for those activities. Public comments that we received focused on major themes that we sought to incorporate into the final IRP. Through that public outreach, we've developed, the power system has developed a series of high-level recommendations that attempt to balance the public's biggest concerns with IRP goals and objectives. So to circle back with all of the participants, we'll be holding a final workshop on November 30th at 7 p.m. Here at DWP. We're going to issue that announcement today, as well as a media advisory, and post it on our website at lapowerplan.org. We plan to do extensive outreach and advertising to let people know about the workshop. I believe it's also planned to publish the draft IRP at some point very soon as well on that website, and we'll be making that announcement soon as well. We'd be happy to answer any questions about the outreach.
Any questions? Thank you. Sounds
I
very
would
thorough.
just like to thank you, Joe. I understand you put in a lot of time on this, and I went to the LA Power Plan website, and it's very helpful. And anecdotally, I've heard from the public that they've really appreciated the public outreach meetings, and I'd like to thank you and particularly and Winifred Yancey and Mike Webster for their good work. So thanks very much, guys.
Okay, Joe. Thank you very much. Any other comments from the COO?
That's it.
I see our CEO has arrived, and welcome back.
Thank you. Apologize for being late. We are actually the centerpiece of my comments. This meeting today coincides with the opening of the LA Auto Show. And the preparation that this department has done for the emergence of electric vehicles and the potential it has not only to green our environment, but at the same time create jobs in the community is a large one for us. And this department has played an integral role together with the Building and Safety Department in the City of Los Angeles of pioneering a program that's really unique in California, unique in this country. We're in somewhat of a privileged position as we are the second largest city in this country, probably the largest market for electric vehicles, but at the same time we own the largest municipal utility. So the ability of Building and Safety, DWP, and all of the city departments to work as one will be a distinguishing feature. So we're announcing a very aggressive program today. The mayor will be announcing it later this morning in conjunction with DWP, where we will, in 1 week, provide the installation in any consumer's home for a purchase of an electric vehicle. For the first 5,000, we have federal monies to provide as a rebate against the costs. But most importantly, we think it's a leadership position for Los Angeles, not only in providing support to our electric vehicle customers, but also to signaling to the business community and those corporations involved in those goods and services that Los Angeles is a place that they can come and do business. So we think it supports the needs of the department and also creates jobs for people in the Los Angeles community. So it's a very important program. The other thing I'd like to acknowledge is our COO has been leading the operational assessments we've undertaken and talked about. He will be reporting on those in the December meeting, but have had a number of important initiatives, and we're making progress on those. So looking forward to hearing his report at the December meeting. Last, I'd also like to acknowledge Mike and Joe and Winnie and the team on the IRP, as well as Aram and his team of engineers. The substance of it is pretty compelling and well done. But in addition, they have gone the last mile, and every Angelino who wishes or has a stake in that set of issues, which are important for all of us, I think has had a chance to comment, review that, and engage in a direct dialogue with the department. So I think that in order to become more transparent and responsive to our constituents, our team have really gone the last mile. I want to thank their efforts, and anyone in the city who hasn't had a chance yet to come, I encourage them to come to the final session or to make an appointment, and I'm sure that our team would individually meet with any constituent who wishes to talk about it further. So again, I want to acknowledge their hard work and Thank you, Mr. President, for the time.
Thank you very much for your comments and for getting the programs through that we had approved as a commission some time ago. It's very important to be the leader in this area, and we appreciate that. Next, comments or requests for Commissioner Parfrey.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to report in on the recent meeting of the Inyo County, Los Angeles.
That's scheduled for item 9.
It is scheduled for item 9?
Yes, it is, I think. I have it as item 9 for. But if you choose to give it
I
now.
do not have it as item 9.
That's fine then. Why don't you go ahead and give it? I've got it item 9.
Is it okay to go now?
Sure.
All right. So the Inyo County, Los Angeles Standing Committee met on Thursday, November 4th, and I attended as well as Commissioner Noonan. And the meeting consisted of documenting previous action at the August 27th Standing Committee meeting to adopt a revised scoping document for the regreening of the Northeast Pine Tree Enhancement Mitigation Project. There was one action item. The Standing Committee reconsidered and then adopted the revised scoping document for the regreening Northeast of Big Pine Enhancement Mitigation Project. And we did this at Inyo County's request to address a Brown Act concern and followed an Inyo County Board of Supervisors process. And at that standing committee, the following reports were made. That we announced that the Board of Water and Power Commissioners approved modification of the Green Book by striking Section 3.C.5, which is the plant recruitment studies. We made a report on the update of the Green Book revision effort. We reported that temporary exemption of well W377 has been made by the technical group, and an updated exempt well list was distributed to all participants. Water agreement land release auctions are planned for March. This has been long anticipated. LADWP will fund a qualified independent appraiser selected by the Inyo County for land valuations. There was a report on the status of the Owens Lake groundwater study, and there was also a report on the status of the Owens Lake bed master plan, which is really coming along very nicely. There were public comments. There were about 50 people present, 50 members, employees of the Big Pine Indian Tribe, the Owens Valley Committee, Sierra Club, and others were in attendance. Public consensus was generally against the groundwater pumping in Owens Valley mitigation projects, and specifically against the adoption of the revised work scope for the regreening of Northeast Pine Tree Enhancement Mitigation Project. The Audubon Society, however, spoke in favor of the Owens Lake Bed Master Planning process. So this concludes the report. The next standing committee is scheduled for February 24th in Los Angeles in these chambers. And that concludes my report from the standing committee.
Thank you. Commissioner Noonan, anything to add to that report since you were there as well?
No, I feel he captured it very well, so thank you.
Okay, great. Next, public comments.
I'm sorry. However, I did have just a couple of questions regarding items number 6 and 7 on the agenda.
Okay, please ask them. We'll get to those in just a little bit. Commissioner Alleman, any comments?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Any other comments that you have, Commissioner? Okay. Then there will be a public comment, please. And we have Barbara. How many cards?
I believe we have 16 cards for number 4, public comment.
Okay. Let's begin.
I do need to ask, though, a Diana Brandt, what item you wanted to speak on. You did not put an item number down on the card. No? Okay. Okay. We'll go ahead and start now.
Let's start now.
There's a two-minute time limit, please, for speaking. The first speaker for number 4 is Dr. Clyde Williams, and after that will be Manny Henderson.
And please, since we have that number of people and we have a number of people speaking on another item, we're going to stick rather firmly to the 2 minutes Sometimes we do try and let you go over, but we can't this time. We won't this time. So please. Okay.
Yesterday, Dr. Clyde Williams, 4115 Barrett Road, El Sereno, Northeast LA. Yesterday, there was a Board of Neighborhood Empowerment meeting. And what was one of the discussion points? DWP liaisons and the MOU. It's irrelevant. Why have it? Because we don't get notified. We don't get timely notification of rate changes and things like that. Some people are now wondering about what is this WACAF that is coming, adjustment factors. So why have an MOU that says that you're supposed to have, might say, interaction with the neighborhood councils? I enjoyed the references to the numerous neighborhood councils meetings that were held for stakeholders for the IRP. Well, not that we know of in Northeast LA. There was a couple of workshops, not well attended, but that was usual. So we're still looking at timeliness, accessibility to the information before it comes to the board for a resolution. There's still some elements that we look at. 50% of the water that was used during the summer is for irrigation. We're still trying to figure out how to reduce that. The inspection regarding conservation and running in the streets, water running in the streets doesn't seem to be well done. But here's one of the things. The water system. Parts of it are being replaced at a rate of once every 300 years. But didn't we pay for a better reliability? Is 300 years an acceptable reliability? I don't know. Maybe we need more money so that we can replace, say, 1% of the total pipe work each year. 1%, that is, once every 100 years it gets replaced. I think you'd depreciate it faster than that. But that means more water, more money, and you need more tiers.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Manny Hernandez, and after that, Selvin Peterson.
Mr. Hernandez?
Actually, that's we're part of a bigger group. Is actually Manny's the last speaker, so we had like an order. It should have been given to you in order. I'm sorry.
Well, you're going to have to give her your list in order, please, and otherwise we have to call by the way we have them. Who's speaking, Barbara?
Okay.
Well,
I should be next.
Well, who are you?
I'm Kokai Kwaji Tahiti from Lane, and we were speaking.
Is that you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know what? Why don't you just call your speakers up as you have them?
Okay.
All right.
I was going to ask you just to keep it easy. Can we bring them up right now?
You can bring them up right now, but you have to give Barbara their names, please.
Okay. If folks can come up.
Let them line up behind you, please.
Okay. Have them line up behind me. Second speaker is Reverend Lewis Logan. Okay. Third speaker is Rudy Heron Jr. Next speaker after that is Abraham Hernandez. Next speaker after that is Samuel Monroy. And then after the last speaker in the group is Manny Hernandez. And I believe Liz hasn't arrived yet, so if she comes, she gets. Oh, sorry. Then Liz would be. We can put Liz right before Manny, right before the last speaker.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the thank you, board.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
2
thank
minutes,
you.
please.
Good morning. My name is Kokai Kwaji Tahiti. I am from the Los Angeles Alliance for a New Economy. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. And we're basically today speaking in strong support. We're actually here to celebrate DWP. We're speaking in strong support of DWP's efforts to implement the Weatherization Assistance Program in a way that expands opportunity for communities across Los Angeles. At a time where there are so few job opportunities, the DWP has stepped up to the plate and is doing the hard and important work of creating jobs by launching the Weatherization Assistance Program, which puts federal recovery dollars to work weatherizing thousands of low-income homes. And for that, we applaud you for that. The department, working with IBEW Local 18, is providing an important service to DWP's low-income customers. It is also creating training and job opportunities for Los Angeles residents, including those who live in some of our poorest communities, through the creation of the Utility Pre-Craft Trainee Program. These trainees are being hired into a civil service exempt classification and will receive a year and a half of on-the-job training that will serve them well, whether they find work in the department or move on. It has been suggested that this work could be done by private contractors more cheaply. In our view, you get what you pay for. By doing work in-house, the department is ensuring quality services and jobs that will allow workers to learn a trade and support their families in dignity. Our emergency rooms are full of poorly paid and underemployed workers who labor for $8 and $9 an hour. That has a cost to taxpayers as well as to families. Many of them are from the construction sector. Indeed, 42% of construction workers lack health insurance. The industry failure to provide health insurance and a decent income to construction workers costs California $700 million per year in food stamps, public health insurance, and other programs, according to a UC Berkeley study. It is important to provide living wage jobs. IBW Local 18 has worked closely with us to reach out to potential applicants, and you see representatives from many of these organizations here today: Lane, Scope, LA Trade Tech, Southeast LA Crenshaw Workforce Center reached out to residents and community organizations, and from South and East Los Angeles to West Los Angeles, Pacoima, and San Pedro to get the word out about the newly created position. On September 30th, more than 150 workers lined up outside the Union Hall, and we had an opportunity to listen to their incredibly moving stories. Some of them are here today. You will hear from some of them. They knew about the great work and training opportunities available at the department, and they knew that a job in a department could be transformational for them, for their families, and for their community.
So to wrap up your comments,
Thank
I just want to just commend so many of the individuals who were key on this: Tom Gackstetter, Lucia Abeleas, Mike Koa, Nelson Liu, Lorraine Pasquette Aram. We want to commend Frank Miramontes, Wes Pyle from Joint Training Institute, Local 18's business manager Brian Diorsi,
please wrap it up.
Korsky, and Sean McLeod. There's so many, and thank you once again. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Next speaker.
next speaker is Reverend Louis Logan.
Reverend.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Louis Logan. I'm pastor of Ruach Christian Community Fellowship. I represent the faith community here in Los Angeles. I work also with Lane and other campaigns to bring about the redistribution of resources to underserved communities. I also want to echo and continue the expressions of appreciation just registered by Mr. Kokai in reference to the capacity and ability of LADWP in its effort to create this Unity Pre-Craft training position. I think that the context in which we find ourselves today oftentimes is inundated with hopelessness. This hopefully is a message to those who are in tremendous dire straits to know that there are efforts that have been put in place and that will specifically address the issues of economic enfranchisement and employment. Hopefully, we'll understand that your investment will effectuate a long-term goal and a long-term realization of a profit as it relates to a trained workforce, a ready workforce, and safe environments. Statistics suggest that where there are families that have viable income and viable capacity to take care of the needs of its community and family are safer. And so we hope that you will see this as a win-win situation for you and for the community, and certainly for the faith community. I for one, am tired of going to funerals, funeralizing and eulogizing the youngest, the brightest in my communities. And I hope that by employing the youngest and brightest in our communities, that we provide viable options and opportunities for them to actualize the human potentialities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your comments.
Okay, the next speaker is Rudy Haran.
Sir.
Good morning. My name is Rudy Haran, a resident of South Central Los Angeles and member of Concerned Citizens. A few weeks ago, I was one of over 100 people who stood outside in the cold hoping for a chance to work for the Department of Water and Power. Despite the cold weather, I had to jump at the opportunity. In my community, working with the GWP is seen with pride and honor. Right now, I'm currently unemployed, but I have experience in construction, and I would like to put my skills to work. I want the Board of Commissioners to know how important and rare this opportunity is. Because of this program, people like me have the opportunity to provide for their families and improve their community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Next.
Next speaker is Abraham Hernandez.
Hello, good morning, Commissioners. My name is Abraham Hernandez, and I'm also a resident of South Los Angeles and a member of Scope Agenda. It was through my organization that I was made aware of this great opportunity. Not only the possibility of getting a good job, but also the opportunity at getting a good paying job. I didn't know there was a difference between the two until about 1.5 years ago when my father was laid off of work. I was in school at the time, and I realized that the atmosphere at home was changing, and my parents would argue more often, but I didn't make the connection that the bills were piling up and they were falling behind on their mortgage. So I decided to scale back on time, and I would go to school and start looking for a part-time job at the moment. And I found that in our community, finding a job is not hard, it's nearly impossible. So I found out I would hear people talk about the recession and how it was pretty much hard to find work, see it on the news, and the very unpopular word, unemployment. Now it all makes sense. When I was told about the utility pre-craft trainee position at the DWP, I was excited. Excited at the possibility of working for the DWP, excited at the possibility of obtaining a quality training job, and it also excited at the possibility of getting a good paying job. That Thursday morning when I showed up to sign the registration book, there were hundreds of people also out there waiting with me and excited as well. People from South Los Angeles and other surrounding communities. Some of these folks are standing right here with me today, and also we commend the DWP for investing in inner city communities like South Los Angeles and providing us with the opportunity at a better quality life through this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Next speaker is Samuel Moray.
Monroy.
Monroy.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Samuel Monroy. I'm the Interim Executive Director of Icon Community Development Corporation based out in the San Fernando Valley, more specifically in the community of Pacoima. As an organization, we assist small businesses, mom and pop shops, with streamlining their processes, obtaining more energy efficient procedures, access to capital, workshops on accounting practices and things like that, especially in these tough economic climates. We all have become aware that small businesses thrive only when people in the community have quality jobs, which allow them to spend money on products and services in their own community. For communities like Pacoima, access to careers with the Department of Water and Power can help spur the economic activity our small businesses desperately need in these times. This program can ensure a well-trained workforce that will directly work with small businesses in making them more energy efficient and responsible to the environment that they are located in. And for those reasons, I think it's really important as an organization, as a personal, that we completely support the utility pre-craft training program that the Commission here has implemented. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Liz Heron.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Heron, and I represent the Arroyo Seco Neighborhood Council, and I'm a vastly underemployed, self-employed architect who has been hit extremely hard by these economic times, and I'd like to applaud your efforts for bringing the utility pre-craft jobs into our neighborhood, Northeast Los Angeles, very, very hard hit, particularly the construction industry, which I'm quite aware of. But I'd like to encourage you to not only focus your efforts on the utility side, but the water side. I think climate change, green jobs needs to include water retention programs, implementing gray water in single-family houses and businesses. So, couldn't have been 2 minutes already. So just...
I think it went to one, so yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. I like to talk. But so I'd just like to shift the focus a little bit and encourage you to broaden the effort for gray water, water retention systems in a potential drought area. So I'd just like to thanks again for the work you've done, but please let's look at other opportunities for green jobs on the water side. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Manny Hernandez.
Hi, my name is Selvin Peterman. We had to change the...
Oh, okay. Selvin Peter. All right.
I'm from Shields for Families, a nonprofit organization serving the South Central and different areas of Los Angeles County. We are a social service and job development organization with locations throughout LA County. We would like to state our support for this program, the Utility Pre-Craft Training Program. We believe that this is a tremendous step in providing quality jobs for our community, while also affirming the department's commitment to expanding the environmentally friendly services to rate taxpayers and low-rate, moderate-income families. These are the types of programs that Angelenos like myself and others out there like me need. I'm a job developer myself with Shields for Families, and I know what the conditions are out there. I can give you a story of a gentleman that went through some of our computer training programs. He was released from prison doing 18 years. I have to say this. Doing 18 years in prison, he went through our particular training program. He's now supporting his family. He's not looking back on what he did to go to prison. I mean, this is what you can be afforded by allowing programs like this to work. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Manny Hernandez.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Manuel Hernandez, and I'm a community organizer with Strategic Concepts in Organizing and Policy Education, or SCOPE for short. We're a community-based organization in South Los Angeles, organizing and building grassroots power to address the structural barriers that hinder our communities to social and economic opportunities. And we stand here in solidarity with community groups, faith-based groups, labor, and the business community to stress the significance of the creation of the utility pre-craft training position for our communities. Not only is this an investment in identifying tomorrow's workforce, but an investment in inner city communities that have been hit the hardest by this recession. We are no strangers to unemployment and underemployment. We have been living with it for more than 30 years in our communities. The UPCT provides real opportunity for those with little work experience, and a career pathway at a time when looking for work is a job in itself. This is a pipeline to jobs at DWP's energy efficiency program, a pipeline to green jobs, the fastest growing jobs in the state and in the country. And we want to thank the DWP for involving community stakeholders in this process, a process that will benefit all of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, sir. Any other speakers on that item?
Yes. Next is Jim Stewart, and after that, Roxana Flores.
Hi, I'm Jim Stewart, Chair of the Global Warming Committee for the Angeles chapter of the Sierra Club, and representing the thousands of Sierra Club ratepayer members in the DWP district. It's a thrill, isn't it, to have that wonderful set of people coming from South Central showing how the DWP in action can really make a difference in terms of energy efficiency, renewable energy, and in people's lives. And so I think all of you commissioners and staff should feel good about the program that you're supporting. And another thing that you should feel good about, and I'm so pleased that Commissioner Parfrey already mentioned this, the outreach that you guys did for the IRP was wonderful. We're really very, very impressed with the quality of the presentations, of the facilitation, of the involvement of the people, of the careful recording of the notes and comments that people made. And we're looking forward to having those comments reflected in the IRP. The sessions that I attended, it was clear that people want DWP off of coal by 2020. That we were pleased that there was just a little bit, like less than 3% difference between no coal and coal. And that we want energy efficiency. The people know that a more robust energy efficiency program will more than pay for any cost of getting off of coal and going to renewables, because it'll lower our overall bills. And another thing that people said, we want to breathe clean air. We want renewable energy. We don't want to be under the power of the oil and gas cartels price fixing. We want the certainty of sun and wind power. And we hope that your IRP will reflect these needs and desires of the people. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Roxana Flores, and after that, Alice Druffer.
Hello, my name is Roxana Flores, and I've been a Wilmington resident for the past 24 years. I'm so grateful to be given this opportunity to voice my opinion here today. LA should utilize power generated from renewable sources such as solar, wind, microhydro, and such by 2020. We need to eliminate our consumption of dirty, non-renewable sources while reducing our generation of greenhouse gases, particulate matter, and other pollutants. We owe this to the people who have had their health compromised, animals that have had their habitats destroyed, and our environment which has endured tremendous resource overuse, neglect, and abuse. In making this break, we show our neighboring communities, states, nationwide, and global partners that change is not only possible, but inevitable. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Alice Druffer, and after that, Sege Karashi.
Hi, I'm speaking in general about the IRP 10A. Okay. So I also have notes if anyone wants it. But good morning.
Security rule.
My name is Alice Druffel, and I work for California Interfaith Power and Light, an organization that works with 500 congregations of all faiths in the areas of energy efficiency, energy conservation, renewable energies, and policy advocacy. California is only one of 38 states that has an interfaith power and light, and nationwide we work with about 10,000 houses of worship. And some of you already know me and my organization since I've spoken at previous meetings and hearings, most recently at the August 12th LADWP hearing, which kicked off their 6th session community meetings. And at that meeting, we supported the strongest possible option in terms of LADWP's adoption of 35% renewable energy standard, as well as being coal-free by 2020. What I just learned recently through discussions with CIPL steering committee meetings is that my organization and the faith community has been in conversation with LADWP for over a decade now. This is a thank you letter dated May 22nd, 2000 by David Freeman, sent to faith leaders who attended the LADWP Interfaith Environmental Summit, sponsored by the Green Power for a Green LA program. And at that meeting, per my colleague, the Reverend Alan Cohen, Mr. David Freeman spoke of the fact that clean energy is a moral issue, that we lack a sense of outrage about pollution, and that it is now time to act in a sustainable way. And isn't that exactly what we're talking about right now? And we're still saying the exact same thing. CIPL and the faith community does recognize and appreciate the fact that since the year 2000, LADWP has decreased its use of coal to what I understand now 39%. So congratulations, thank you. But now it's time to move ahead quickly. I just want to make a point that this is not just about LADWP and LADWP territory. This is a much larger issue on a national scale. Our federal government, in the form of the Senate, would not even start a conversation.
Could you wrap up your remarks, please?
Sure. On national climate legislation this year. Why? Because they felt it was unpopular. Because individual senators felt that they wouldn't be reelected if they brought up such a hot-button issue. Well, the faith community is not afraid to say unpopular things. We're not afraid to say the following truth. We're almost at 400 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere now, and we're contributing to climate change. Just ask the people in Pakistan, Russia, and Haiti. And here in the United States...
Your time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Sigi Karashi. Hopefully I'm not mispronouncing that too terribly. S-E-I-G-I. Oh, okay.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
First things first, I would like to thank the DWP for a very thorough outreach process for the city of Los Angeles. I'm currently a student at UCLA, and although my residency has been short, it has become very clear to me that Los Angeles has a great potential to be the green leader, not just for America, but for this world. And it has become increasingly clear that a commitment to getting off of coal by 2020 is the first giant step in that direction. This is not just an individual opinion. I have found so many other people on my campus that feel the same way. This past fall, 35 students and I biked over 30 miles to attend a rally to kick coal out of LA. And the student movement for or against, rather, various propositions for this November ballot was incredible and mind-blowing. I believe that there's no better time than now to act on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, sir. Next comment.
The next speaker is Haley Moeller.
Followed by?
Linda Romney.
Thank you.
Hello. I want to thank you guys, first of all, just for having this opportunity for the public and for myself to address these issues. So my name's Haley Moeller, and I'm also from UCLA. I'm with E3. We're an organization on the UCLA campus. We're the chapter there of the California Student Sustainability Coalition. And we've been working tirelessly to make sure that LA and California remains a clean energy leader. And we had a rally last month that had Senator Fran Pavley come and speak, as well as other community leaders, to stop Proposition 23. We worked really hard at UCLA. We had over 3,700 students pledge to vote no on that proposition. And I think that just demonstrates that we as young people really want to see LA be a place that we want to live and that we want to work. And for me, I'm going to graduate in June. And I'm going to stay in LA even though I'm from Northern California, because even though some people think that LA is this, they'll stereotype LA as this sort of megalopolis that's insensitive and polluted, I don't think that's the case. And I definitely don't think that's the future of LA. And I think that, that right now we have an opportunity to pursue a clean energy future for Los Angeles and for California. And I want to see LA, I know this, it will take time, but I want to see LA have a revitalized river with a river walk that people want to come and visit. And I want to see, when I type into Google images, I want to see LA come up with pictures of the Santa Monica Mountains and walkable streets. And I think that the first step is making sure that we get LA off coal now by 2020. And that we set a precedent in LA and in California, maintaining us as a clean energy leader, as an environmental steward, and just as a wonderful place to live and work. So, thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Next.
The next speaker is Linda Romney.
Followed by?
I still haven't heard if Diana Brandt is here and what item she wanted to speak on.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Linda Romney. I addressed this board on Tuesday, October 19th. At that time, I presented 5 exhibits in support of my testimony, and I was given the assurance by Commissioner President Alpert that you would look into it, take care of the issue. Haven't heard anything back from anyone. I also contacted again my Councilman Smith's office, just to name a few. Basically, it has to do with the fact that the DWP having to do with water committed fraud. I say fraud because of the fact that the manager, Ms. Williams, represented that I was entitled to only a 50% discount for an underground water leak. And at the meeting, she was asked for over 50 minutes to supply the bulletin or site that pertained to it. She alleged on that tape at that commissioners meeting that nothing existed. Then after 50 minutes, she produced the bulletin that said that if you're indigent, if you're dependent on strictly Social Security, I make less than $600. That's my only income, that you're entitled to 100% for an underground leak. The DWP went out. They substantiated that. I gave all the information, including my income. And, what did they do? On November 2nd, they came out and they turned my water off. I'm disabled. I'm a senior citizen. I was entitled to 100%. I have credit for the water leak, which was over $800 on the first bill, which was an opening bill. and over $200 on the second bill, which I was told could also be credited and should have been credited. You're talking about a rate advocate, taxpayer rate advocate. How are you going to have one person when you've got 15 councilmen in this board, and then you go in front of the commission, and on that commission I did a public information request as to the hearing officer, how many people did she ever rule in favor of your taxpayer? How many? And that letter was dated July 12th. I still to hear a response back from it. And when you give out notification as to the hearings...
Could you please begin to wrap up your time, ma'am?
I sure will. When you give notification, you do not notify the public that they have a subpoena power, that they have the right to be represented by legal counsel. There's absolutely no information given on that notice. So I'm asking again that you could consider this matter on October 19th. Please. I mean, I'm in the right. I've given you all the documentation, and it's the DWP's documentation, and yet you come out and you turn my water off. Now, where's my next recourse? To the newspapers?
Ma'am, your time is up.
Thank you.
Mr. Raj, as I had indicated to you, when you spoke the last time, your matter was turned over to the appropriate people within the department to evaluate and examine whether or not they've gotten back to you. I can't tell you, but they're here, and I'm hoping that there will be some contact made before our next meeting to inform the lady as to what her rights and remedies are, and whether or not there was in fact an error in our determination, and if there was an error, to have it corrected, or if there wasn't an error, to tell her that there wasn't and why. So would staff please, who's going to be responsible for?
No, I'll have staff contact her right now. If she'll wait outside, I have somebody come in.
Okay, if you wait outside, someone will come and get your information now. Thank you for appearing. Next speaker.
Okay, the last card for item 4 is Diana Brandt.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diana Brandt, and I represent the Sierra Club and the Transition to Green community. And I greatly appreciate the DWP for their outreach, and I hope that the conclusion to all of it is that we're going to move beyond a coal-free and have, you know, basically a coal-free future, at least before I would hope sooner than 2020. I also want to thank again the DWP staff for their taking notes, being really responsive. I think that it was great. It's something that should be more common, not so rare. So I look forward to future forums and discussions. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, so I am a native, which I've heard is rare. I'm also a very active person, and I was one of those kids in grade school in the late 60s and 70s that went through a lot of the smog alerts. Now that I'm an adult and basically my mid-adult years, I've developed pre-asthmatic and allergies conditions, and my doctor says it's because of Los Angeles air, the toxic particulate matter. So his suggestion was that I move to a place with better air quality. And back in the 90s, our report card for air quality was really, really good. But what I understand is through the Bush administration, that's changed. And obviously, I'm feeling it. So since I'm a native, I really don't want to move. This is my home. And I guess what I want to say is that whether a person believes in climate change or not, I think it's time for us to usher in clean energy and move away from using dirty energy. Using coal is one of those dirtiest forms of energy. So it's got a very negative impact on the environment. Not only is it polluting our air, but also it ruins our ground water sources, the aquifers. I just hope that we can stop that, and let's begin lessening our environmental impacts now and be the vanguard for other cities and the country.
Remarks, please?
That's it. And I just hope we'll be a vanguard for other cities in our country.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Any other speakers on item number 4, public comment?
No more cards for number
If there
4.
are none, item number 4, public comment is closed. We'll move on to our next item. Before we do, if anyone is here on item number 9, item number 9A, which was the Economic Development Committee report, we've already heard the report from another committee in your county. That will be given at our next board meeting. Our commissioner has additional information to obtain, and we'll have that ready for you. So if you're here on item number 9, it will not be heard today. It will be deferred to our next meeting. Moving on, I understand Commissioner Noonan had questions on item number 6 and item number 7, so I'll entertain a motion to approve items number 5 and 8, unless there are any other commissioners who have questions on 5 or 8. Is there such a motion?
There is.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections or abstentions? Seeing and hearing none, it carries unanimously. Item number 5 and item number 8 are deemed approved. We'll take item number 6 now. Commissioner, your questions?
First of all, I want to thank Mr. McDaniel, who joined us for the INEO Standing Committee meeting, and I learned so much on the on the travel over there and coming back. And one thing I did ask of him, which he kindly agreed to do in the future, is to explain to me the type of work that is being conducted to assess plastic pipes versus steel pipes. And I bring this up just because of the cost factor that we're looking at with item number 6. And a lot of the literature that I've read shows that aside from the substantial cost benefit, there's other advantages to using plastic pipes, and many municipalities are following that route. So I would really appreciate getting that information in the future from Mr. McDaniel and the Water Systems team. My specific questions to item number 6 is it states that the SCS contract was terminated, but it doesn't explain why, and I'm just curious as to why. And the other question I have is, I understand the reason for wanting to approve the purchase with Ameron is because there may be some litigation from SCS if it's not purchased. But I'm just curious if buying all the pipe that your division does, whether or not the price that they're asking for is market or not.
Okay. Without comment, please, on litigation. Litigation is something that's handled in closed session, and we have no knowledge of litigation involving that item at this point. So would you answer the other questions of the Commissioner, please?
Yes, Eric Rosenblatt, Deputy City Attorney. SCS was, the contract initially was made with Highland Construction. At the beginning of the project, Highland Construction went into bankruptcy, and the project was continued by its surety company, SCS /Safeco. After a long period of delays and over budget projections, SCS was terminated for convenience of the department. And as to the second question?
Yeah, I'm just curious if you've done the research to see if the price that's being requested by Ameron, if that's market or not. I understand your preference to purchase it from them since the rest of the piping was purchased through other contracts, but is the fee that's being requested, is it comparable to other pipe that the department's buying?
Well, this is the price that basically would have been we would have paid our contractors, through Highland Contractors, except getting a little bit better of a deal because we don't have to pay the markup that our contractor was charging us for this pipe. So we're going to get it directly and save the markup fee.
Okay.
If we were to negotiate a new contract, it would be considerably more.
Any other questions on that item? If there are none, is there a motion?
Move approval of item 6, please.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any objections or abstentions? Seeing, hearing none, carries unanimously. Thank you. Item number 7, Commissioner had a couple questions on that item.
My only question really is one that's technical in nature. So I understand that you're requesting that we approve the purchase from, is it Voith? Is that the correct pronunciation? Okay. And it states that there's a lot of efficiencies in using them since they worked on other units. Just out of curiosity, it says that the selection is sole source. Is Voith the only company that can provide for these matching parts? Do they have a patent on these parts?
I can explain.
Yeah, good morning.
So let me explain that in 2005, Castaic has 6 units, 250 megawatts each. We're going through phases of modernizing these units. In 2005, Voith Siemens was the contractor that modernized Unit 1 and 6. Unit 6 several months ago went through a catastrophic failure. We had a rod that came loose, and it took out the stator and everything. So as we open up the units, these parts, these spare parts, have to be coming from the same manufacturers. Otherwise, we have to replace the entire unit, to make it with a different manufacturer. And we're trying to keep all the 6 units with the same manufacturers because we have other overlaying systems that we need to put on top of that.
I mean, that really was the question. So, and in fact, this manufacturer is the only manufacturer that could provide for these parts.
And we've had the contract, and we've set the pricing of the spare parts and all the services along the way. So it's not, even though it's sole source for this change order, we have to do it because of the failure that we had.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Move item 7, please.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any objections or abstentions? Seeing and hearing none, carries unanimously. Item number 9 will be deferred. Item number 10, management reports. The IRP is going to give a brief summary.
I do have many speaker cards for 10A.
All right, then let's have the speakers, please.
Okay, the first speaker is Jasmine Vargas, and after that, Elliot James.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to have me here. My name is Jasmine Vargas. I'm a teacher and environmental educator here in Los Angeles and a native. Growing up in South Central Los Angeles, the first word I learned to spell was albuterol. Air quality was a large contributor to my sister and my father's asthma and emphysema, respectively. Wanting to help my family drove my ambitions for becoming a doctor. That eventually changed to environmental advocate and educator when I realized it was the environment that we live in and breathe in every day that was causing most of our health problems. Air quality has improved in LA throughout my lifetime, and I know it's because of the hard work of our civil servants and LADWP, so I thank you and commend you for that. But we are still causing harm to children and families out of state. Air quality around the Intermountain Power Plant and Navajo generation stations together emit millions of tons of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide, and mercury per year. This poisons water supply and the air. So I ask that you review this IRP and embrace a new energy plan for LA that is environmentally sound and socially just. I ask DWP and the commissioners here to phase out energy from these coal-fired power plants that provide 39% of LA's energy by 2020. And I hope that we can build our renewable infrastructure to the capacity for providing 40% of our energy from these renewable resources by 2020 as well. I know that you guys can do this, and I have complete faith in you, as well as you have the support of me and the people that I work with here in Los Angeles. We organized a huge rally on 10-10-10 to kick coal and oil out of LA, and you have mine and those supporters' support as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Next speaker, followed by.
The next speaker is Elliot James, and after that, Marjorie Engel.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. My name is Elliot James. I too am here to address coal
Now, I'm not going to sit here and list a bunch of statistics and a bunch of arguments on why coal is bad and why green energy is the route that we take and how sustainable and how many jobs can be created. I believe that gets very complex, and there's an argument that is much simpler. I believe that if we take it back and we don't worry about budget, if we don't worry about job security or timeliness, and we get to the basic moral fundamental question of what is right and what is wrong, I believe it becomes very black and white what our answers are. You know, I'm still a student. I go to Cal State Fullerton, and I'm young, and I'm not rich. I don't have a penny in the bank, but it doesn't take a millionaire or a genius to see how transparent the problems with coal are. And so I urge you that this problem is immediate and now, and that please do right by me and the rest of the residents of Los Angeles and get us off coal by 2020. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Okay, the next speaker is Marjorie Engel, and after that, Jeffrey Martinez.
Good morning. My name is Marjorie Engel. I'm here representing the League of Women Voters of Los Angeles. We want to thank you for your efforts to both inform and be informed by your customers. The IRP workshops were well organized and jam-packed with great information. Your staff was remarkable, always willing to answer any of the questions that came up in those workshops. And the facilitators were clearly committed to gathering all points of view. So again, thank you. And my understanding is that there is going to be a summary report of those workshops, and we're still looking forward to seeing that. With any national action on climate change stalled, cities around the nation have committed to take action on climate change, which is actually pretty appropriate because most sources are, in some sense, local. Los Angeles' Green Plan calls for reducing greenhouse gas emissions 35% below 1990 levels by 2030. That's ambitious. The plan obviously anticipates that DWP will need to play a significant role if that target is to be reached. As the nation's largest municipally owned utility, DWP is in a unique position to set an example of what is possible when city and citizens work together. The energy investments you make now will be in use for years to come. The League is deeply concerned about the predicted impacts on future generations of what we do or do not do now. We urge you to set a bold example. End the use of coal as soon as possible, increase the use of renewable energy, work with local businesses and labor to create jobs and a sustainable energy infrastructure. We need to start now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, ma'am.
Okay, the next speaker is Jeffrey Martinez, and after that, Carlos Hernandez.
All right, so first off, I want to thank you guys for taking your time.
Could you just kind of speak a little louder into the mic? Or?
All right, first off, I want to thank you for your time. My name is Jeffrey Martinez, and I'm here, well, I'm a student at LACC, and I'm here from Beyond, or LACC's Beyond Coal. All right, so going green is more than just the end of coal as an energy source. It is the beginning of a healthier environment, life, and the beginning of revamping Los Angeles. Money goes to waste on coal from mining to transporting and then removing the ash coal leaves behind. Los Angeles could save money going green rather than keep on working with coal as an energy source. Coal is not a renewable energy source, so as we work with it, the amount decreases and the prices will just go up. Right, so today in LACC we're having an event. It's called the Day of Action, and we're making some pinwheels, which we're going to mail to DC. They're supposed to represent the clean energy, which hopefully we can, like everyone's been saying, get off coal by 2020 rather than 2027. Right. So that's all I have. Thank you for
very
your time.
much, sir, for your comments.
Okay, the next speaker is Carlos Hernandez, and after that, Evan Gillespie.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Hernandez. I'm also representing Los Angeles City College. I'm the president of the Beyond Coal campaign, in which we're raising awareness on how Los Angeles is still using coal as a source of energy. Our campaign accumulated over 1,000 signatures and have had many events where students have expressed their concerns and thoughts. Our campus is looking to be a leader in clean energy, as well as have one of the busiest cities, Los Angeles, be cleaner and healthier, starting with the end of using a dirty source of energy, which is coal. So I hope you guys take that into consideration, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Okay, the next speaker is Evan Gillespie, and after that, Lyndon Schultz.
Okay. Thanks so much. My name is Evan Gillespie. I work with the Sierra Club. I appreciate the opportunity to comment today. I want to talk a little bit about the public process for the IRP, talk a little bit about the IRP itself, and then I think why this really matters and why this conversation that we're having today is really critical for Los Angeles and the state. First off, thanks so much to Mike Webster and Joe Romalo and the other folks who helped put together the public process plan. I've been to enough government hearings and workshops to know what a great workshop looks like, and what one where people are just kind of listening and not taking notes and not really processing what the public's saying. And this was a really great example of public input done right. So thanks so much to the staff. I know they put a lot of time and resources into it. On the IRP itself, when you guys released the plan back in July, the draft integrated resource plan, the first thing we did was send it to a group of consultants who spend their days looking at integrated resources plans all over the country and help actually draft them for utilities. And their comments were, this is a great, great start. That the quality of the information, the thoughtfulness that went into it was really encouraging and top-notch, not just in the state of California, but all over the country. So credit to Mr. Benjamin, to Ms. Pascal, and Mr. Beatner for their leadership on this. We were really pleased with the direction of the content. As I mentioned, this conversation really matters. What Alice Truffle said earlier, there's been a large pushback at the federal level about taking action on climate change, that in some corners of the country this is unpopular. Well, in California, it's exactly the opposite. We had a referendum on strong climate action back on November 2nd, and 61% of the state voted for strong leadership on climate, and in Los Angeles County, it was actually higher, it was 68%. And I think the reason for that is twofold. First of all, Californians and Angelenos in particular want to see serious leadership on climate change. And second of all, they see the benefits. So the 500,000 jobs that have been created in the last 5 years in California, the $9 billion of investments, they want to see those. They want to see those benefits come to Los Angeles, and that's why this plan really, really, really matters. I think the question of what's next and how we translate that is in the IRP. We need to stop funding coal plants that come from out of state, and we need to drive those investments into Los Angeles, into energy efficiency programs, into a feed-in tariff, into things that will help us move away from coal and also help create jobs in Los Angeles. So thanks so much. We look forward to hearing or looking at the next draft. And again, thanks to the staff. They did a great job.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Next speaker.
Okay, the next speaker is Lyndon Schultz, and after that, Kathy Seal.
Hi, I'm Lyndon Schultz. I'm an architect engineer with a small business.
Could you speak up a little into the mic, sir?
I'm an architect and engineer with a small business in LA. I grew up in Southwest Colorado. My first introduction to Los Angeles before a family trip to Disneyland or Hollywood or the Southern California beaches was the power plant at Shiprock. And I remember a view of two objects on the horizon, the looming power plant and Shiprock in the haze. My parents said that before those plants were built, the region had 200-mile vistas, and that the power was exported to Los Angeles. I grew up with this sense of living in a beautiful but compromised land. Now I live and work in LA, and am myself a consumer of that power. Getting off coal is an opportunity, I would say an obligation, to do the right thing, not only for LA, but for the entire Southwest. As an architect, I frequently see opportunities for the integration of renewable energy, especially solar, and very cost-effective energy efficiency measures into building projects. Today, another energy boom, this time for natural gas, is occurring in the Intermountain West. It's a boom also not without serious environmental consequences. LA exploited the coal in the air sheds of the region in the 60s, and the city is similarly, if perhaps less consciously or without deliberation, exploiting that region today with respect to natural gas. All this is even more reason for the city's future energy policy to aggressively push local renewables and efficiency. Go green, get off coal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Next.
Okay, the next speaker is Kathy Seal, and after that, Dr. Clyde Williams.
Hi, my name is Kathy Seal, and I'm chair of the Beyond Coal campaign here in Los Angeles with Sierra Club. I want to thank you so much for those wonderful workshops that you had, taking in public input. We really felt listened to, and we're so much looking forward to seeing some of the comments and the desires of the public embodied in the IRP that we're looking forward to so much. We've been going around and we've been talking to faith leaders around the city, and we've been having a very good, more than a dozen and almost 2 dozen of rabbis, priests, ministers, and even an imam have supported our campaign to get Los Angeles off of coal. We're also going to farmers markets and all different places around the city, having petitions signed by members of the public that would like to see us get off of coal. And later, one of our volunteers will give you more than 7,000 signatures to these petitions. I have to say that when we go out to farmers markets, it's really easy to get people to sign our petitions. Once we tell them that 39% of our energy here in LA comes from coal, they say, here, hold my potatoes, hold my lettuce, let me sign. Why is this? People don't want the dirty air from burning coal anywhere in the Southwest. They also want to do something to stop global warming. And here's something that we all can do. This is why they feel more empowered when we give them a petition to sign, because global warming is such a huge problem. And here's something we in Los Angeles can do to lead the way to slowing this terrible possible apocalypse. So we ask you to please continue the good work that you've been doing. Help us keep bills down by doubling up on the efficiency programs that people here have already spoken to, how much they like them. Please do some PR with the public. Help us to let them know that the investment now that is made in clean energy will be really terrific down the road, because we'll get free energy from coal and wind, and the price of coal, as we all know, is going way, way up. So help protect our bills and help keep them down, and help get us off of coal by 2020. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Okay, the next speaker is Dr. Clyde Williams, and after that, Alejandra Santos.
Dr. Clyde Williams, El Sereno. I'm the bad cop, I guess. In the IRP, at least on the east side, we didn't get that much participation. However, we're kind of used to that. One of the things that is real time, though, is solar. And the lack of sufficient efficiency measures within the IRP and conservation measures within the IRP. But then you come to solar. We have a real situation. Building and Safety and the DWP put in 15,000, or is putting in 15,000 square feet of solar panels on a hillside in Montecito Heights. Nobody got noticed. Nobody was told it's coming. There's another one that we've been told is about 3 to 5 times larger than that. The community was blindsided. So when you talk about workshops and stakeholders, how about the public? How about the neighborhood councils? None of the neighborhood councils, that is roughly 8 that may be affected eventually, were not told before construction started. However, the city council is going to try to put through a legislative measure to reduce the number of greater than 5 kilowatt solar panels so that they can consider them, anything over 5 kilowatts, on an individual basis. Maybe that will help. Rooftop solars, I really like them, except that I don't consume enough electricity to justify them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Alejandra Santos, and after that, Jenny Bristock.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
My name is Alejandra Santos, and I am a resident of Silver Lake. I am here because I have a deep concern over global warming. I was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I can remember every summer into the beginning of the school year that special season of the year coming along. I attended Catholic school from kindergarten through 8th grade, where we would have weekly mass and hear our congregation's petitions. Keep us and others in your prayers throughout this hurricane season, the priest would say. Every year, every season, every single tropical depression in the Gulf, the adults would speculate about the next storm being the big one. Well, the big one never came while my parents and I lived in Louisiana, but the night of August 28, 2005 is a time I'll never forget nonetheless. I had spent the entire afternoon into the late night watching the news and weather updates. When I had finally seen enough, I went to my room and knelt next to my bed to pray. For the safety of my entire family, friends I had known since childhood, all still residing in that region, evacuating to all different parts of the country, some never to return home again. But especially for the city I love, for I knew that it would never be the same again. Hurricane Katrina made landfall in Louisiana on Monday, August 29, 2005 at 5:10 a.m. Global warming makes hurricanes stronger and more dangerous. More than 30% of the United States' annual carbon dioxide emissions come from coal plants, making them a major contributor to global warming. The impacts of climate change affect not only the environment, but also families and communities. We have an opportunity right now to make Los Angeles coal-free. Let's lead the way for a clean energy future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, ma'am.
The next speaker is Jenny Burstock, or Binstock, I'm not sure. Okay. And then after that, Vicki Kirschenbaum.
Sorry, that must be my handwriting. Hi, I'm Jenny Binstock. I'm a regional field organizer for Greenpeace USA, based here in LA for Southern California. I want to thank the Department of Water and Power for the very open and transparent process surrounding the development of this IRP and for the great initiative working to get our city off of coal, and thank you on behalf of Greenpeace. It can't be overstated enough how bad coal is for us. It's the single largest source of carbon dioxide pollution in the United States. Our own EPA, proposes that the industry produces enough toxic pollution to kill up to 36,000 people every single year. Our continued dependence on coal is a national catastrophe, and it's propped up by our federal government. And over the last decade, we've seen, I believe it's, up to $20 billion put into the coal industry by our federal government. And LA is so much better than that. There's a long history here of defending the environment and of defending public health. As Evan stated before me here today, it's overwhelmingly clear that California cares about the issue of climate change. They care about protecting our public health. With new EPA regulations, it's going to become more expensive for us to burn coal, with new regulations proposed on mining, on toxic coal ash, on the air pollution that comes from burning coal. So the longer that we stay bound to this source of energy, the more we'll suffer. And so it is imperative that LA get off of coal by 2020. My organization, Greenpeace, we have over 25,000 members just in the greater Los Angeles area that are all very concerned about this issue. We have recently joined many other partner organizations getting into this fight to get our city off of coal, and we really appreciate everything that the Department of Water Power is doing. We talk to people right there at the Sierra Club at farmers markets. People are appalled to learn that we're fueling the destruction and the cycle of burning coal. So we encourage you to get our city off of coal. We appreciate what you're doing. Our biggest step that we made thus far is organizing a large rally back in October where we had 1,000 people on the steps of City Hall sharing this concern as well. And I brought a picture for you of that today that I'll leave at the door. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Next.
Okay, the next speaker is Vicki Kirschenbaum, and then after that, Kwaza Nuturmai.
Hi, I'm Vicki. Thanks for the chance to speak. And again, thank you for all the outreach you have done on our energy plan. I'm a mom. My daughter is 12. So I'm very concerned about global warming, very concerned about climate change, the changes we are already seeing in our state and across the nation, the changes that we are seeing that impact agriculture and that impact our water supply. I want a healthy and a safe future for my daughter, our family, families across California, families across the U.S. I know that the main cause of global warming is burning coal to make electricity. And so I joined the local Sierra Club campaign called Beyond Coal, and I'm one of those people that's out there at those farmers markets talking to people about energy. And I'm out there at the neighborhood councils, I'm talking about energy. And I'm out there with the faith leaders, and I'm talking about energy. And people are responding. I must have had, in the past couple of months, at least 1,000 or more people say to me, I get it. I want the city to get off coal. I want to see renewables and lots of conservation energy efficiency. And I have with me, I believe they may have submitted it, but I have the copies also, the endorsements from 7 neighborhood councils so far. At each one of these, the board voted overwhelmingly to endorse our campaign, and I will leave these with you. We have South Robertson, Toluca Lake, Silver Lake Echo Park, Greater Griffith Park, Mar Vista, and Palms, and we are on the agendas for many more. We are gathering that support. We're behind you. Go for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your comments. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Kwazu. I'm probably pronouncing that terribly. I'm so sorry. And after that, Gabriel Rolfe.
My name is Kwazi Nkrumah, and I'm the chair of the Community Advisory Board at KPFK Radio here in Los Angeles, 90.7 FM. I'm also the coordinator of a group called the Coffee Party. We're a group of people who believe that government is not the enemy of our community, it's the expression of our collective will, and we have to make it more workable. I think it's really commendable. The Department of Water and Power seems to be really working diligently to try to deal with this global warming problem and the whole problem of pollution and energy conversion. It seems like we are a society that is dead set on killing itself. You know, I heard somebody say earlier, and I know it's a common phrase, that, you know, the question of global warming is a debate going on. You know, the heat outside the past few weeks tells me that we've got a global warming problem, as does the climate change that's going on all over the country and all over the world. This is not rocket science. It's just that we've gotten expert in hiding our problems from ourselves. I really personally would like to see us on a crash program for conversion, locally, nationally, and on a statewide level. And also I want to commend you all, and I hope that more agencies will also, and communities in general, will get on board with this program toward beginning to train people for conversion in areas of work that will help us to convert our technology to clean energy. We really need a crash program for this if we intend to survive. So, you know, that is why I'm out here today on behalf of the Community Advisory Board of KPFK to support the Sierra Club and groups like Lane and the DWP in these efforts to make this real in our community. All too often, people feel that government is not in any way responsive. You all are proof positive that that is not the case. So thank you for doing that and being responsive to the needs at hand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comments.
Okay, the next speaker is Gabrielle Rolfe, and after that, Matthew Redhead.
Hi, I'm Gabby Roffe, and I'm a senior majoring in environmental studies at USC. I originally moved from Baltimore, Maryland, so that I could study in California, where I thought it was really progressive on environmental issues. Through my studies and working for the Center for Sustainable Cities and the Program for Environmental and Regional Equity at USC, I was very shocked to find out that LA is actually pretty behind in environmental justice and equity and in clean energy usage, and that we're using 39% of our energy from coal. In my last year at USC, I really wanted to help spearhead the Beyond Coal campaign because I thought that I could see results in both energy usage in USC and Los Angeles, creating green jobs and addressing the economic and environmental problems, especially for local neighborhoods of low income who suffer the greatest health and economic consequences of coal. As a representative of my generation, USC and Beyond Coal, and as a person who cares about the future economic, social, and environment of LA, I worked tirelessly on campus to gather support from students, faculty, and administration who all feel very strongly that LA needs to go beyond coal by 2020. Let's prioritize a new energy economy based on wind, solar, and other renewable energy sources, creating opportunities for green job growth and addressing the environmental problems. We can boost our local communities and economies and strengthen local alliances. I am proud and honored to be speaking in front of the LA DWP today, and I hope that I can be proud to say that LA will lead the way in clean energy and get off of coal by 2020.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Next.
Next speaker is Matthew Redhead, and after that, Kent Minault.
My name is Matthew Leonard, and I'm a student at USC majoring in Arts and Philosophy, Politics, and Law with a minor in Environmental Studies, and I'm here to talk about coal. I'm originally from Fullerton, Orange County, where I was a freeway kid spending a good amount of time listening to talk radio with my mom and brothers on the way to school. My family's pretty opinionated, and often nights at the dinner table consisted of talks regarding politics and why people make the decisions that they do. Over the years, I went through many different political swings. When I was younger, I considered myself liberal, and then conservative, Democrat, Republican, Green, whatever. However, over time, I've come to the realization that some decisions that people have to make can either be one way on the political spectrum or the other. When the topic of clean energy comes up, it is a no-brainer that it is a bipartisan effort that has to be made, considering it is regarding the welfare of everybody. My entire life, I never got an opportunity to really make a difference in the world until I got to USC. The weeks following my first day of class, I was lucky enough to be added to the Beyond Coal campaign. The work we have done to not only raise awareness on campus, but to actually implement change is somewhat remarkable. Between last semester and this one, we have gathered over 2,000 petitions and lobbied countless faculty to help with the campaign. We have received endorsements from both Greek life and the student government. Last week, we met with 5 of the top university directors, including our sustainability program director and our Vice President of Administration, to discuss the creation of a task force consisting of faculty and students whose goals would be to work with the LADWP and make our campus more efficient and to reduce USC's use of coal from 39% to 0. I often wonder where I will be in the year 2020. The world by that point will have gone through some pretty drastic changes, some good and some bad. Today we are fortunate enough to discuss a better position to put ourselves in tomorrow. Cleaning up our energy use is something that has to be done in the future, so the point of waiting only becomes more detrimental to our health and to our wallets. It surprises me that in 1941, the United States built the first nuclear weapon in a four-year period. I can't possibly see why we can't figure out how to use clean energy in a 10-year period. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Okay, the next speaker is Kent Minalt, and after that, Steve Fox.
Yeah, hi, I'm Kent Minalt. I'm an adult school teacher at the Pacoima Skills Center. And what a privilege it is to be here with all these voices. I never knew that I would be standing here at the end of such a long line of fantastic voices speaking for green energy. And by the way, thanks so much to the Commission for the wonderful series of hearings in September. I went to 4 of them and spoke at 2. And I'd just like to encourage you to go with the overwhelming majority of voices that I heard there, which were asking you to go for green energy and get us off coal by 2020. One motivation I have for being here is that when I was a little kid, I got bullied. I was a skinny little kid in the suburb of Boston, and a little younger than everybody else, and so I was an easy mark for bullies. And I found a lot of the other kids would deal with that by kind of playing up to the bullies, doing favors for them, so they could keep their lunch money and avoid the abuse. I tried that, but it didn't work for me because my mom sent me to school with an I like Ike button. But later on, I got tall, and the problem cleared itself up. But I noticed that in my adult life, a lot of the same thing happens. People try and play up to the bullies and do what they want just to avoid conflict. The fossil fuel industry spent a few million trying to bully California into abandoning its green energy program, which is sort of like our version of the skinny little kid on the block. During that time, I was distracted because I was working with the Sierra Club as a volunteer, and I participated in collecting 7,741 signatures of LA residents asking the Commission to get us off coal by 2020, and we had to take time out from doing that to participate in the No on 23 campaign, which I worked with a lot of young students, and I was working also with a lot of my own students. I'm an adult school teacher, and these are the people that will be doing the green jobs. Some of them are the kind of people that you just saw coming from Agenda and Scope, doing the weatherization program, because that's part of our green energy future too. So I'm just here to say, if the fossil fuel energy starts to bully you guys because you're going for green energy, remember, you'll have all these skinny little kids on the block going for your back. So get us off coal by 2020 and don't get bullied. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Next.
Okay, next speaker is Steve Fox. Is it 10A you were speaking on, or 10B? What? You just have 10 on here. Is it the IRP?
Same as everybody else is
okay.
speaking on.
Fine. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my name is Steve Fox, and I'm chair of the Green Team at Temple Isaiah in West Los Angeles. Our Green Team was born about 10 years ago when a small group of us met with the Reverend Canon Sally Bingham of CIPL, where she expressed her concerns about this then little-known concept of climate change. Then we were green, but that was in a naive sense of the word. Now we're a different green, a living green, trying desperately to help heal the planet. And I use the word desperately for two reasons. First, because of the number and magnitude of the problems that we face. Every 5 days, there are another million of us on the planet to take care of. That's net. Every 5 days, another million. Every second, we lose an acre and a half of rainforest, like that. An acre and a half, every click. We've used up 1/2 of the, in quotes, easy-to-get-to oil that it took 150 to 200 million years to create. And we didn't even discover it in this country until 150 years ago, and now half of it in the world's gone. Sometimes thinking about all of this, I feel like this proverbial deer frozen in the headlights. So we are desperate to find solutions to problems we are causing, but sometimes we are also just desperate for hope. My faith obligates me to worry about future generations, but I need encouragement. And we're here today asking you for that encouragement that we get when we set the example, as we are used to doing in California and Los Angeles. We've done it with smog. We're doing it with AB 32. Let's do it by getting off coal in 2020. And it will help us to be able to proudly answer when our grandkids ask us, what did you do to give us a livable world? Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Marvis Danash. And after that, Tony Wilkinson.
Good morning. I'm Marvis Quash. I'm with Coalition for Clean Air. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of the Commission, and also thank you for DWP staff for this outreach process and being responsive in the public meetings. First of all, CCA works with communities throughout the California regions to get away from dirty energy and also to reduce health effects of those residents there. And we also work with residents to reduce the chemical effects of consumer products. So therefore, we're really glad to see the IRP and that LA DWP is preparing for a long-term energy plan to move away from the outdated energy resources. And we urge the DWP to move away from coal power energy use by 2020 and to focus on energy effective method, demand reduction, and renewable energy supplies. Just yesterday from the press release, Mayor Villaraigosa stated that his goal is to have LA as one of the greenest cities in the nation. And people recognize that we have a lot of victories for clean air, but we still have a long way to go, and that let's take this as a great opportunity to take a big step forward in the right direction. Our clean tech industry is blooming, and that with Prop 23 behind us, we have to use the IRP to show climate leadership, and also to show that this is what Angelenos have voted for on November 2nd. And we also need to use this opportunity to improve our air and also our economy and green jobs as well. We have been a big part of this advocacy process, and we're eager to see that our work is paying off in this strong plan and moving forward to renewable energy, and that we need to consider costs in terms of human lives as well as health, not just LA, but also global impact as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Next speakers.
Okay, the next speaker is Tony Wilkinson.
Any other on this item?
That's the last card I have for 10A.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tony Wilkinson, Chair of the Neighborhood Council Department of Water and Power Memorandum of Understanding Oversight Committee. I think one of the wonderful things has been to hear all of these speakers today and realize that the outreach that the department has done on the Integrated Resources Plan and the workshops that were held have obviously touched a large number of people and neighborhood councils in the community. So I'd like to, on behalf of neighborhood councils in the MOU, thank the department because I think that this is exciting because we are now looking at a new department and a new way to approach the public, which is obviously having a very positive and definite result. The integrated resource plan is well thought out. It's carefully considered. It has choices. It indicates some options are more expensive than others. So I think it's a very good work. So I want to leave those comments very positive, but I also want to tie the integrated resources plan into this next item that you're going to consider, which is a report on an independent ratepayer advocate. Clearly, the integrated resources plan, while indicating some costs for doing things in billions, avoided touching that magic third rail of direct effects on rates. If it had been more specific, I submit that you would have heard more than the kind of public comment that you've had today, which is in general terms. You've heard some economic-based public comment. And an independent ratepayer advocate is the kind of department resource for this board that will enable this board to bring financial analysis and direct rate effect analysis on proposals that come from the department, when sometimes the department is trying its best to present the honest choices, but also to avoid, some flack. So I think that the RPA is an essential tool of this board in understanding many things, including the integrated resources plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, for your comments. Next speaker, there being no more.
Okay, that was the last speaker card for tonight, so that'll close the...
Yes, 10A is closed. Are we going to do a report on 10A, please? Or just a brief summary? I think you wanted to do it.
Yeah, I think we don't have a full report, but I would like Mr. Benjamin to just give a very quick, brief response and update to what I...
Mr. President and Commissioners, just take a minute to thank everybody that spoke today. This is a reflection of many, many months of work that has been done not only by staff, but also by the communities, and everybody that spoke here truly made us much better, as we move forward on refining the thought process and all the information in the IRP. So I want to really thank the neighborhood councils, the League of Women Voters, the Sierra Club, the NRDCs, and the Greenpeace, and all the individuals that have been here. I truly believe that their participation is extremely important. Having said that, this is the beginning of a huge transformation that the power system and the department is going to go through, and we need every one of them to stay with us and help us go through this as we look at the reliability of our system to make sure our assets are reinforced and renewed, to make sure that we address the environmental issues of reducing greenhouse gases, and make sure that the development in our area is done much smarter, to make sure that we use technology to maximize our existing assets and to be more responsive to customer needs, and also having a diversity of our fuel sources as we look at the future for renewables and integration issues, system and stability issues. These are themes that have come through as we've talked over and over again, and as the more we do the outreach, the more refined we're getting in reaching out a recommendation that we'll bring to our board. And of course, underlying this whole effort is the rate structure and the way we move forward as far as funding these and the public policy questions that will be in front of you as far as trade-offs and where we go from here. So with that, I just want to wrap it up and say we are looking forward for the November 30th meeting that we're going to do and talk more refined recommendations, and then come back to the board with some more work that we need to do on the rate structure issue and other details.
Thank you very much for your comments, Aram. Let me make a comment, please, as in my capacity of president, so something is very clear to you. This entire commission, and when the mayor and the council appointed us, made it very clear as to what their agenda was, and that is to green the city and to get off coal. Each one of us up here is committed to that process, and I think you'll see by the actions, or you've seen by the actions that we've taken as commissions, as a commission, that we have attempted to do just that, get off coal as quickly as possible, deal with the issues, other issues involving green power, electric vehicles, other types of things. So we have a very progressive agenda as a commission and as a department. Our mayor has a very aggressive agenda as a mayor, and those of you who know the mayor know he doesn't like to take no for an answer or fail, as does the city council. What we are balancing with is not the decision to go green, the decision to get off of coal, but how we can do so in a responsible way to all of the residents of Los Angeles. That's what we're struggling with. Everything costs money, and if the money does not come from grants, federal grants, or from other assistance, then it comes from bonds, which the ratepayers have to come pay back, and it comes directly from the increases in rates to our ratepayers for what we are charging them for effectively establishing new entities, new delivery systems of power to the city of Los Angeles. That being said, we're committed to doing that. We, the department and the commission, are doing our best to evaluate and review all alternatives to assist us in funding and the impact of the funding on our ratepayers. It is not just an immediacy of action that we're looking for. We're looking for the long-term impact and effect on the citizens of Los Angeles and on us. So be assured that we do want the same things that you do. You do not have to talk any of us, including the commissioner who is not able to be here today because of a conflict, into getting off of coal. You do not have to talk to any of us into moving to a green power. We commend you for your comments today and thank the organizations that have spoken, and just rest assured that we are working to find a way to get there that will not cause more financial harm than is already hit the city of Los Angeles, having nothing to do with water or power, but by the general economy itself. And we're also looking to help our low-income people who cannot afford the rates to maintain their rates at low levels that are low enough for them to be able to sustain themselves. Because if the general rate structure goes up dramatically, and from what history has shown us and what we've been able to tell so far, rates are going to have to increase. They have just naturally increased. And we don't want them to increase such that the poor of Los Angeles, even with their discounts, can't afford to pay for water or power in the city of Los Angeles. Nor do we want to raise them such that business more business move out of Los Angeles instead of coming to Los Angeles, or that people who have jobs in Los Angeles, which is a wonderful thing, decent paying jobs, move out because the cost of water and power has become so high. So we are truly, and I say this without any question at all, I can tell you we are truly working towards trying to reach the goals that most of you have spoken about today in a way that is responsible, that's expeditious, and that isn't going to break the necks or the backs or the pocketbooks of the ratepayers whom we have our obligation to and the department. So thank you all very much again for your comments. Our thinking is in line with yours, and I just want you to know that. But we have the one other step that we need to take, and that is to ascertain the financial impact and feasibility, and making certain that while we're achieving the goal that we have, we're not destroying the economic base or the ability of people or businesses to survive in LA, which would have an adverse effect. So that's where we're coming from, just so you know. So thank you for your comments. The Commissioner Parfrey, I see, is grabbing the mic, so he has something he would like to say.
So thank you, Mr. President, for talking about the long-term view, and I think that's something that is absolutely true. You know, there's a cost of just maintaining the status quo, and if we just go and maintain the way that we have our current mix of power right now, there is going to be a considerable cost associated with doing nothing. And I think that really what befalls the department is to provide that public education so that we understand that this is a moving target and that investments must be made today to save the bill payers of tomorrow. And I know sometimes that's a hard argument to make. People are looking at their immediate needs, but that's the nature of an investment. An investment is looking into the future to reap rewards in the future. So appreciate your comments, and I know that we're going to move forward in a smart way to help the ratepayer as well as the environment simultaneously.
Okay. Any other comments from any commissioners? Thank you. We move to 10.
10B?
10B, please. Yes.
And I do have speaker cards for 10B.
Okay, let's call them up, please.
Okay. The first speaker is Tony Wilkinson.
Mr. Wilkinson.
Tony Wilkinson, Neighborhood Council, DWP MOU.
I see you're limping today. The Neighborhood Council didn't do that to you, did they?
I got 2 bad meniscus tears, and I'm going to demand I've got arthroscopic surgery. I can't do this hobbling anymore.
Good luck.
Thank you. My colleague Chuck Ray has been participating, as you know, in the department's effort to put together a ratepayer advocate proposal. I have not, so I have somewhat of an independent view on that. Right now, as we speak, I do think that the ratepayer advocate is not an effort to court public favor for something that's currently a public hot button. I truly believe it's an essential tool for you, the board, in evaluating proposals from the department. Right now downtown, under media glare, there are some proposals for a ratepayer advocate that have added things that are obviously to increase the public appeal at a ballot box, and that's upset our labor partners, among others. But in the middle of all of the voices, conflicting voices on what's going on at the City Council's proposal, I think increasingly the department's own proposal looks important and relevant. And I think it's very important to consider what this report has brought back to you. In particular, I think that it's somewhat the one choice of the department's working group to limit the ratepayer advocate to only rates, annual budgets, and multi-year plans is perhaps a fatal flaw that may hurt the department's independent proposal. There are matters that come before you that require fiscal analysis and rate impact long-term analysis that don't fall in those categories. An example would be the sale of department assets. Real estate, this building, that would involve a financial analysis and long-term rate impact. We're looking at the state where the governor has proposed sale of state office buildings, and we have 2 people, the finance and controller, voting against it, and the governor's appointees voting for it, but it's probably not a good deal. So the ratepayer advocate can give you as elected people some independent backup when controversial issues come, and I'd really ask that you ask the working group to expand the proposal to include those things that you choose to ask for financial analysis and ratepayer advocate information on.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next, Karen.
Next speaker is Dr. Clyde Williams.
Dr. Williams.
Good morning, I hope so. Dr. Clyde Williams, El Sereno. Ratepayers advocate. At the beginning, I was very much in support of it. Then I said, no, Department of Water and Power. Power is the vital word. For the neighborhood councils, we have an MOU, but it was once interpreted, well, that's interpreted by the DWP, not by the neighborhood councils. The attorney said that. So we were quite concerned regarding ratepayers as to how effective they could be. I've been with ratepayers advocates in the CPUC. At the beginning, they were very effective and very helpful for the ratepayers. Then they became enamored with the power. So I said, hey, why not for LA DWP have an inspector general who has the right to go into any file? What's the big secret? I don't know. Getting access to files, getting access to information to make informed consents. I agree with the coal projection. you're going to probably double, maybe even triple the rates for power if you come off coal, because what's the alternative? In the same way that if you're going to sell assets, hey, that affects the rates too. Everything affects the rates. However, would the ratepayers advocate have the access to timely information within the staff files? I doubt it. So ratepayers advocate, nice concept. Maybe it's a subset of Inspector General. However, MTA, Metro, they have an Inspector General too position. They've never filled it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Any more comments on item number 10B?
Next is Linda Romney, and then after that, Candida Morez.
Okay. Linda Romney?
Ms. Romney, are you still here?
She spoke earlier.
She was here.
Then we
All
can
right.
go
Would
to...
you check outside, please, and see if there's a Miss Linda Romney?
I saw that John Chen was talking.
Yes. No, thank you very much.
Okay,
All
then
right.
we can go to Mr. Candida Morez.
Mr. Morez? We're on 10B.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 10B, I'm well aware of them. Ratepayers advocate. In the past, you've seen that I've really stayed away from this issue because I feel that we have the leadership here, and we have the leadership in City Council and the Mayor's office, so it's not my job to propose a ratepayers advocate. I feel that sooner or later we will come up with a solution for that. But what's most important in all my years of being here at DWP is the fact that the staff has gone out and really done a great job. Greg Bartz was out at the Van Nuys Neighborhood Council, and it was late. He spent the time. I think he got out of there probably about 10:30. So, again, I want to thank the staff for doing their job. I've known the greatness of the staff here at the Department of Water and Power. I think that sooner or later that we're all going to be able to come up with a compromise. But my issue, again, still is what is the department going to do to help the ratepayers keep those costs down? We know the rates are going to increase, but I think there's a lot we can do working together to keep those rate increases down. So I hope that we continue this progress. It's something that's needed, and its time has come because the ratepayers are at a point to where they've had enough. I know that the Department of Water and Power, the great people that are working here, have a lot of great ideas that we can use to save and to cut costs. So with that, I just hope that we come up with a ratepayer or a general an inspector, whatever it is, but that it'll benefit the ratepayers of this great city, and that we'll move forward with that. And if I may, Mr. President, I wasn't allowed to park on the facility because they said I was given a pass last time as far as parking. So do I need to pay you $21, or should I pay Mr. Finley? So I'm parking on the street where I'll get a $50 fine, but that's okay. I'd rather pay the $50 fine than be forced to pay something when I've been told from the prior meeting that I was okay to leave and not charge, but they wanted to charge me the $21 again today. So, it's just, I hope that you'll ponder that, and if that can be straightened out, because I'm not going to stop going, even if I have to pay $50 on the street.
Okay, thank you for your comments. We'll pass them on to staff to make sure there's consistency in treatment of whomever has to pay whatever they have to pay, at least if they're parking on DWP property. We can't control what people pay on other parking facilities. The ratepayer advocate, any more cards than public
No,
comment?
that was the last card.
Public comment on 10B is closed. Let's now move to the report, please. Who will be giving that?
Ms. Weldon.
I will. Good afternoon. Good
afternoon.
afternoon, Commissioners. And just as you recall, back in August, we reported to the board that a ratepayer advisory panel, a ratepayer advocate advisory panel had been formed. And the 4 members of that panel are Chuck Ray from the Neighborhood Council, Kristen Eberhard, who's with NRDC, Carol Schatz with Central City Association, and then Stuart Waldman with VICA. So that is the 4-member RPA advisory panel. And they have had several meetings since then. And what I wanted to do was just to share with you, because none of them are here today or were able to be here today, is just an update on what the panel has been discussing so far. So as I mentioned, they met several times, and one of the first things they did when they met is that they reconfirmed the need for independence. This ratepayer advocate, and they've said this many times, needs to be independent. So when they talked about things like governance and structure, and how this thing would be put together, they stress the need to be independent. So a lot of that you'll see reflects that particular need. With regard to the ratepayer advocate function, so this is the RPA itself, I'm just going to kind of read to you what it was that they had proposed. The function of the RPA will be to improve transparency by providing timely and accurate analysis to decision makers and the public regarding rate-making decisions at DWP. The ratepayer advocate will review, analyze, and advise on how rates will impact DWP's ability to meet its customers' needs at least cost in a reliable, equitable, fiscally feasible, and environmentally responsible manner over the long term, while ensuring adequate investment in infrastructure reliability, maintaining regulatory compliance, and ensuring adequate and sustainable supplies. And a couple of things that the ratepayer advocate will not be doing is the ratepayer advocate would not have the legal authority or the ability to set water or electric rates or to establish policy, because that authority is under the jurisdiction of our Board of Commissioners. With regard to the structure and the governance, what the panel is currently discussing is the ratepayer advocate oversight would be provided by a nonprofit public benefit corporation. It would be like a ratepayer advocate board, and it would provide third-party, neutral, independent oversight of the ratepayer advocate function. And the department would contract with that board for funding purposes. The composition of that, and I'll just call it a ratepayer advocate board for now, there will be 9 voting members. This is what the panel is proposing, and they purposely compose the panel, or they're proposing the panel to represent kind of the diversity in the city. So let me just tell you about the composition of the board. Again, there are 9 voting members. So they're proposing that 3 of those members come from the neighborhood councils. 1 would be from the environmental community. 1 would come from labor. 1 would be from the nonprofit community. So, for example, somebody from an educational institution or perhaps a hospital. And then 3 of those members would be from the business community. So that would be the composition of the proposed ratepayer advocate board. The initial board, I should say, would be those 9 persons would be selected and confirmed by the advisory panel. So this 4-member advisory panel, to get the board going, they would be the ones who would then select and confirm those initial 9 members. And it would be by a majority vote of that advisory panel. And then after that, it'll be self-sustaining, so as the board members change out, then the ratepayer advocate board would then make the decision, and they would select who the new board members would be. They did talk about the need to have qualified members on that particular board, and some of the things that they discussed were things like understanding water and power and the rate issues associated with water and power, and of course the need to be conflict of interest free in all cases. Now, with regard to the ratepayer advocate function itself, so they talked about forming this board to provide oversight, but when it comes to the ratepayer advocate itself and that function, they felt that the selection of the ratepayer advocate should really be done by the ratepayer advocate board. So the board would actually pick the ratepayer advocate or the others who would perform that function. But they did talk about a proposed scope of work for the ratepayer advocate, but again, the final scope of work would be decided by the ratepayer advocate board. And I'll just touch on a few of the things that they were talking about. Review, analyze, and advise on the fairness, long-term impacts, and fiscal feasibility of department rates, rate structure, and any proposed changes. Review and analyze rate-related issues and provide quarterly reports with recommendations. Review, analyze, and advise regarding the department's proposed annual and 5- and 10-year forecasted budgets. And then, of course, participate in public hearings, respond to inquiries, respond to stakeholder questions, and so on. But again, the final scope of work for that ratepayer advocate function would be the decision of the ratepayer advocate board. As far as the qualifications for the ratepayer advocate itself, and again, the final qualifications would be decided by the board, but some of the things that they talked about were experience and capability in public sector utility rate analyses. They thought that was very important. And then some things a little more obvious, like the ability to clearly communicate and explain complicated rate-related processes, because certainly our processes are very complicated. Ability to disseminate information, interact with the public, respond to inquiries, and so on. And they did say there was a preference for candidates with experience working with municipal water and electric utilities. So again, that's a preference. They didn't say it was a requirement necessarily, but again, all of that will be decided by the RPA board. Now, with regard to staffing level, and this is staffing level for the ratepayer advocate function, so there will be an office. Initially, they're thinking something on the order of 3 to 5 persons to get this thing going, with the ability, however, to hire outside expert consulting services as necessary. And again, the final details on the staffing would be decided by the ratepayer advocate board, but right now, that is to get that function going. As far as the location of the ratepayer advocate office, again, to ensure independence, what they talked about was that the actual physical location of that ratepayer advocate function, it cannot be in on any city property. They said it should be in a non-city owned property, and again, to assure independence. As far as the funding, I mentioned that there will be a contract between the department and the ratepayer advocate, this board. The department would contract with that board, and the initial contract we're looking at is a 2-year contract. And at the end of that 2-year contract, there will be an evaluation performed by the board of the ratepayer advocate function and how the office has been performing. And if they are meeting the stated goals, which are the purpose of setting up this office and the function, and then the board would make recommendations to either extend or modify the contract, and they would be made to your honorable board. And just so you know, with regard to funding for the first 2 years, what is being proposed is something on the order of $750,000 a year. So it would be $750,000 the first year and the second year. And then when they do the evaluation, they would be coming back with a modification to modify that in other pieces of the contract as necessary. So that's kind of where they are now. As far as the next steps, there are a couple of things that are going on right now. The department staff, in conjunction with the advisory panel, is finalizing proposed fundamental elements of a set of bylaws for the RPA board. Again, the actual bylaws themselves are going to be established by the board, but those elements are actually going to be included in the contract, so we need to identify what those are. So that discussion is still ongoing. And then the other thing I mentioned is, we have to come to the board for approval for the funding of the ratepayer advocate function, the $750,000. So we're still working on the final terms to include in that contract. And so the hope was to bring that to the board, hopefully the first meeting in December. So that's kind of where we are right now.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
May I ask some questions?
Please.
The role of this this board and this nonprofit entity, as well as the ratepayer advocate, is entirely advisory. There's no vetted power in that position.
No, it is advisory in nature, and like I mentioned, the one thing they cannot do is they don't have any legal authority to set rates or to establish policy, because again, that's a jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners.
Has our city attorney had a chance to review some of the documents that are being prepared by this?
Yes, we have worked with the city attorney's office the whole way through.
Is there a concern about confidentiality? I know some of our documents have proprietary information in that, and there would be the removal of those financial documents off these premises to another location. Has the city attorney weighed in on that provision?
We haven't specifically addressed that, but we're concerned about documents and redacting and security, and all of that will be covered at the appropriate time.
Well, if they're redacted, I can imagine that being a political
football
as well. Yeah. If this came before me right now, I would thank the people for their labor, but I'm just wondering about the composition of this board, quite candidly. I had some constitutional concerns about a non-elected body having a say, but if it's advisory, I guess they're allowed to do that. I have concerns about the protection of confidentiality. But what also I find troubling is the way that this group has analyzed the public at large, in that it would be divided into 3 members of the business community, 3 members of neighborhood councils, and a smattering of others. And you know, you have the members represented on there are 4 people, 1 from the environmental community, but 2 from business associations and a representative of the neighborhood council who, quite candidly, is not necessarily representative of the neighborhood councils. And so I have some real concerns about the way that this board has been at least designed initially. And you know, I'm just wondering, here's a body that's going to be advising on rates, and yet, you know, I don't see anyone who has any special skills in rate setting. And I could ask that our folks over in financial, I mean, how, for someone to have expertise in setting rates, what kind of educational level does someone require? I mean, can someone out of community college, do they have the expertise to set rates?
I think you have to look at their education, their background. They could have a variety of items. We could go back and look at PA consulting and look at the people that they hire and, you know.
But I'm talking about inside the department. People
we have
typically
engineers that assist us. We have accountants.
people typically have advanced degrees.
And they have advanced degrees, and it's not something you start off right off with. You have to start looking at it and understanding the cost structure and how we bill our customers and such.
So when people who are working on setting rates, who are personnel at the department, how many years do they work in the department before they actually have final say in what the rates would be? I would assume that they'd have to put in some time.
Probably 20 years.
About 20 years, 20 years of
that
experience.
they have a final say.
All right. And then in the area of economics, I don't see people who are assigned from perhaps academia who understand how, you know, economics works and the changes there. I don't see someone who would be on this panel from utilities, who has expertise in utilities. And so I have a lot of questions regarding this current structure, and if it were put before me today, I could not support it. And I also, last comment, there's a timing question. So I know nonprofits, that's something I really know. And I know it takes about, at minimum, fast-tracking 6 months to get a nonprofit established. And I that has a 501c tax-deductible status associated with it, perhaps less time if it's just a standalone public benefit corporation. And I'm just I know that the City Council is preparing, even today, a series of measures that they're planning to put before the voting public in March. And I think that we should move down our timeline as well. But it could very well be that we do not have this sort of ratepayer advocate structure in place before that March vote takes place, because we will not have been able to establish this nonprofit entity. I don't know, I have a lot of questions, and I appreciate the report very much, but I'm just not hearing answers. Thanks.
I think it's a very good report. It's a preliminary report. It shows that there's been a lot of thought and a lot of time that have been expended by the members of the committee, who represent very diverse and often opposite opinions. If you've been around the city and you recognize the names and where these people are from, you'll see that these are not people that all come from the same concept and the same ideas. I think it's a worthy effort. I think it's worth looking at. There are always going to be questions that we're going to have to ask. In terms of timing, we can certainly, there's nothing that requires this to be in effect prior to the council's determination, but we certainly could approve any concept of ratepayer advocate prior to the March election, and that would be something that we would go forward on whenever and wherever. So I'd like to, I think Jonathan has raised some valid points, and from which the committee should take a look at and be prepared to respond to them. But I'm not willing to say that this is or isn't a good idea at this point, because I frankly haven't had the report, a full and final report submitted to me, and until I do, I'm going to withhold judgment on whether or not this is something that I could or could not support. I think the bottom line is that we can always find reasons why we shouldn't do something and can't do something. The question is trying to find an opportune way as to how we can accomplish something and get something done. So if there are errors in some of the ways or things that have been missing that this particular committee didn't consider or look at, let's find a way to correct those so that we have the right answers when you bring it before this department. I think it's inevitable that a ratepayer advocate of some form, whether it's in a form of a not-for-profit or the form of an individual or a form of 5 or 10 individuals, is going to be something that the community has spoken very loud and clear that they want. I think it's something that will actually, at this point, because of the issues of the past, will be beneficial to the department and the committee if we're being transparent and we're showing the numbers in terms of when we increase our rates or our ECAF adjustments go up, that there will be someone else there to tell us whether they think we're doing it right and doing it wrong. In terms of the financial requests that have been made, you said $750 per year or for 2 years? Per year. And let me just suggest this to you, and that is that we paid far in excess of $750,000 for a one-time report for PA Consulting that we didn't even order, that the City Council ordered. We paid in excess, if I recall, $1 million for that one report. And what we're talking about doing is establishing an entity that will be an ongoing entity that we'll be able to use on a continuing basis, who knows the city, knows this department, or will learn about this department, and we will be able to use when we have an opportunity to use them. So I am not offended by the cost if the effectiveness is that we're not going to need to go through the types of processes that we have, either losing money because the council and the commission can't agree upon something by a particular date, or spending lots of money for a one-time report that some perceived was very helpful, some perceived was not very helpful, and may have just exacerbated the ECAF argument because of its findings. So let's keep all of our minds and eyes and ears open. The commission has intentionally, all of our commissioners have intentionally stayed away from talking or dealing with anyone, on this committee until they come and bring their report to us, so that it clearly is an independent evaluation and report. And so let's see what they come to us with, and then make a decision as to whether all of us or none of us or one of us or 2 or 3 or 4 of us can support this and then move forward on that basis. So good report. Thank you for providing it. It's something that I've been looking for and we've been looking for a long time. Jonathan, thank you for the astute questions that you asked, and hopefully the committee will know that when they make their report that there are going to be lots of questions that will be asked of them. And, and sometimes questions on new entities, new people, new organizations, all the questions can't be answered. You just have to find a way to make a determination as to whether those that have been answered are good enough for you to move forward. And I think that's what we as a commission will be looking to do. So thank you again for the report. That moves us to the item number 10A, 10C, unless any commissioner has any other comment. 10C has already been given, I believe, by our general manager. We're moving forward with a great opportunity for introducing electric vehicles in Los Angeles, and a great opportunity to make it convenient for those who choose to acquire them, to make sure that they can re-electrify them so that they're just not good for one trip home, and then you have to search for a place to take care of them. What we're going to do in just a moment is we are going to take a recess for about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll go into closed session. And so anyone who is not a part of the department during closed session will be asked to leave. But before we do, it's payback sometimes is very sweet, and and I say that, but in this instance, we have the opportunity and the pleasure to have someone who's been very important to us here at the department, and on an all-time basis, It was very effective, and we look to for some of the answers that Jonathan just asked. Happens to be our city attorney, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Brown, it happens to be Mr. Brown's birthday today. So, in keeping with tradition, we want to thank you for being here. We want to wish you a happy birthday. We could not put enough candles on there. Part of the reason was because he refused to tell us his age.
I'm counting the candles.
Thank you very much. My secretary asked how old I was, and I said, you bring me an annual calendar. I said, now you're starting to bring me the days by themselves.
So if we might all join in a good wish for Richard and sing a nice happy birthday song to Richard. Just as you did to us. We can leave our mics on. So Richard, we'll start it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Richard. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
We will now move into closed session. Thank those members of the general public who are here for joining in our voices and wishing Richard a happy birthday. Thank you very much. We're in recess now. Do we need the words, Richard, the closed session words? Excuse me, Richard, Joe, do we need your closed session words? I mean, I know, or did you forget those because? Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's grab a quick lunch and come back.